Coach Greg, and today I'm responding to an extremely popular YouTuber known as Tom Lazarick.
When I was just a little Tom, I wanted to grow up and become a filmmaker. Playing dress-up was a regular occurrence for me when I was a kid, as well as making movies with my brothers.
I must now call Sesame Street's best assassin. Operator, give me Elmo.
Being creative really seemed to be the only thing that I was good at, as I also enjoyed drawing and telling stories. But then something came along to change that. You see, this was my older brother.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
When he was younger, he was beaten up by a classmate for trying to defend another classmate. This inspired him to start working out, and eventually he would go on to look like this. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so rewind a little bit to a pubescent Tom, who after seeing the progress his brother made, was then inspired to start working out as well. I mean, I wouldn't know what the f*** I was actually doing until way later, but still, a new passion was implanted in my being. Health and fitness now fits snugly alongside the arts in the vessel that was Tom. Now, what is my point in telling you all that? Well, thanks to you 1,000 plus subscribers, I may get to make these two passions a part of my actual profession. Really, I cannot thank you all enough. Like, seriously, thank you. I really did not think that could actually ever happen. Believe it or not, I actually had a YouTube channel back in 2014.
I'm the Insomnia Monster.
What do you want?
I'm gonna make sure you never sleep again.
Come on, man, I gotta get up early tomorrow. I went by the Bodacious Bum at that point. Don't ask why. I was very much influenced by channels like the Buff Dudes as they emphasized pop culture, such as film, alongside fitness as a part of their brand. At that time, YouTube seemed like kind of a fruitless endeavor, but we must then fast forward several years to 2020, where I gave the YouTube thing one more chance. But why? Enter Coach Greg. It was this hardworking, non-bullshitting, distinctively voiced little muscle man who would motivate me harder than last time to put myself back out on YouTube. But what the heck is my channel anyway? Well, as the title card suggests, I am putting an emphasis on impassioned insights surrounding fitness while incorporating popular culture, aka the arts and all the fun little things us humans use to communicate in meaningful ways. So my channel was essentially meant to be an amalgamation of my passions being shared with whoever wishes to watch and listen. How I was going to do that exactly, I honestly didn't really know when I started the channel. My channel began with a lot of randomness. I posted a few recipes, a few workouts, as well as a more cinematic attempt. Okay, so first things first. Knowing some kind of martial art or some other form of self-defense, it doesn't hurt, but it also might not help. Typically speaking, whoever's chasing you is going to have some sort of sharp weapon or even some kind of supernatural powers. So this video is mostly going to teach you how to escape or evade your threat as opposed to fight them. But one video would come along and change the trajectory of my YouTube pursuits forever. After some drama involving YouTuber Kali Muscle and the aforementioned Greg Doucette, I decided to jump in with my 2 cents. About 2 weeks later, I would wake up to more notifications than I'd ever had on my phone.
Coach Greg, and today I'm responding to an extremely popular YouTuber known as Tom Lazarick.
Turns out Greg made a response video about my video, and thus my new dinky little channel started accumulating subscribers.
See, I don't always just pick out clout people with millions of followers and do it. Oftentimes I pick people that I just want to do a video because I want to do a video on them.
Over the course of the next week or so, I gained well over 500 subs. Again, I didn't have a whole lot on my channel at that point, but I was going to make Greg proud nevertheless. It's an annoying ass cliche to state, but really, I cannot thank Greg enough. He basically gave me my channel, and is also the reason I would go on to connect with so many amazing content creators, one of which happens to be Jeffrey Veretti Schofield. Jeff is another YouTuber who gave me a great amount of motivation and support after 2 community shoutouts for 2 of my videos. Unfortunately, there is some beef between Jeff and Greg. But regardless of all that, these are 2 friendships that I highly respect, and I plan to continue to support both of them. Because if not for them, I may have never connected with YouTubers like Mr. Tell It Like It Is Johnny Shreve, who is actually an early subscriber. Really appreciate you, Johnny. I also got to have Mama Swole control my life for a day. She made me spin around at 5 a.m.
Some of you wake up at 5 a.m., get up out of bed, spin around 10 times. Oh my god, I'm so mean. I'm so sorry.
And eat burgers made of donuts. Yeah. And then of course there is Aaron Maltz of the Fit Lab, who has been a very loyal viewer of my videos since he subscribed. I really hope I get to collaborate with this brilliant fitness mind one day. Oh, you didn't think I was going to forget about Not Dead Yet, did you? Oh, no. I saved Eli for last, so I could highlight a YouTuber who I grew right alongside. Eli, aka Not Dead Yet, was another content creator who was given a boost by Greg Doucette. And it was through Greg's video that I found a fiery, passionate, little elite Canadian boxer. Thankfully, he accepted my invite to collab, and we've been pals ever since. I asked if we could do a Zoom chat where he could lend his boxing expertise to a video I was making on the Rocky franchise. We ended up talking for well over 3 hours about a variety of subjects, as Eli is a passionate person just as I am. It would be a dream to start a podcast with this dude one day. Anyway, somewhere in that 3 hours was a discussion about Rocky. To all these YouTubers, I say a huge
Thank you.
and thank you to all the friends, new and old, as well as the family who have been gracious enough to support this wild and risky endeavor. It means so much more than you know. Now, on to the Q&A. Oh, hey there. Tom here. You know, Tom. That guy whose voice you've been listening to this whole time. Anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to remind you to like the video, maybe even leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And hey, while you're at it, why not subscribe? I mean, this is a video celebrating subscribers, isn't it? Are you not gonna subscribe? Why wouldn't you subscribe? Why are you not? Why would you not subscribe? Are you Aaron Maltz of Fit Lab. What's going on, man? As I mentioned before, Aaron is actually a good buddy of mine and fellow YouTuber with an utterly superb fitness channel, so I highly recommend you check him out. He asks, what are the best and worst experiences you've had from YouTube since you started? Well, I'll start with the worst so we can end on a positive note. There are many bad experiences that I've had, and they are mostly related to that f***ing YouTube algorithm. I've made a lot of videos earlier on that I really didn't want to. Like when all that Remington James drama was going down, I didn't really want to make a video on it. I just did to play that YouTube game. The other issue has been the apparent need to rush out videos on a weekly basis. I have a job as well as a puppy, and a desire to maintain a healthy social life and personal workout schedule. So making the time to edit these things with that quick of a turnaround can be brutal, but also an interesting challenge. But enough of the bad, let's talk about a little bit more of the good. So YouTube has allowed me a creative outlet and an opportunity to make a name for myself. I've met a ton of outstanding minds through YouTube, such as yours, for example, and found a lot of incredible support for my work as well. Next up, we have Damasio Vasquez asking, why do rear delts pull if it's ahead of your shoulders? Great question, Damasio. This has created the classic quandary, do you train rear delts on shoulder day or back day? Honestly, I think it simply has to do with where the rear head of the deltoid fits on the body. Since it's closer to the back of the body than it is the front, and it's practically part of your back, it ends up being utilized for pulling movements. But if you think about it, the anterior and lateral heads also pull in movements like front raises or lateral raises. So it seems like the deltoids can do a lot of pushing and pulling. RJ_R3 asks, what is your best advice to lose fat and not weight? The best advice for that is to take a sort of main gaining approach. Basically find a level of body fat that you're comfortable at physically and mentally, and have a good idea of about how many calories you need to eat to maintain that. From there, you'll need to train hard in the gym and stay active. Follow a good workout plan and eat in such a way that you can stick to. Assuming your calories are consistent and you're putting in the appropriate amount of effort, you will likely build muscle and burn fat. Now, since muscle weighs more than fat, you will likely gain a bit of weight over time. But it's muscle weight, which is good.
That's good.
And next up, we have Nilo with a few questions. I've actually never pronounced your name out loud, so if it's pronounced Nilo, let me know down in the comment section below. Nilo is actually a very loyal supporter of the channel. What's up, Nilo? Appreciate you, my friend. Anyway, Nilo, or Nilo, asks, how did you get into fitness and film? And being a theme park performer, what made you decide to do so? As mentioned earlier in the video, I was mostly inspired to work out by my older brother, but other reasons include motivation from those buffed out superheroes and action figures, professional wrestlers, as well as all the movies I would go on to watch. My mom was also very much about feeding us three boys a healthy diet. But speaking of both movies and my mom, my parents actually exposed my brothers and me to quite a bit of movies growing up. And thank goodness for that. My innate love of creativity and the arts made me, as well as my brothers, really find a love for movies. I eventually went on to start collecting and developed a bit of a problem. Now on to that theme parks question. And also fellow personal trainer and YouTuber Pete on Purpose wanted to know about the theme parks as well. Pete has a fantastic fitness channel that has an emphasis on plant-based nutrition. Definitely check him out. So the theme park situation is kind of a long story that I perhaps will dive further into in a separate devoted video. The shortest hand version that I can give that would also make any sense is, like many people, I'm a lifelong Disney fan, and I also grew up taking family trips to Orlando to visit Disney World. When I got older, it was recommended that I look into the Disney College program since it apparently looked good on any resume to have worked for the company. So I applied and made it. I was cast as an attractions cast member for Splash Mountain. I probably have over 100 photos riding this ride. The program is meant to be a semester long, and I still had a semester left of college to finish, so I had to go back home to Minnesota to finish once the program ended. But I happened to fall in love with my program. So I essentially graduated from college and then moved back down to Orlando as quickly and recklessly as possible. I had no job, but I was sure I could get back into Disney pretty easily since I'd recently completed a Disney college program. And thankfully I was right. I tell ya, I had a ton of luck in Orlando. My first role to get back into the company was as a slide operations cast member, but my plan was to start auditioning for entertainment. Well, again, my ass got lucky as hell as I was cast after my first audition and got to hang out with badasses like Buzz Lightyear. And that doesn't even cover my work at Universal, which is honestly where I was given the coolest opportunities that I had while in Florida. I was a stunt actor for Halloween Horror Nights in 2017, and one of my back-to-backs was Jason Statham's stunt double. And I'm not even joking. I was also a regular Mardi Gras stilt walker, as well as a good friend to this undead fiend.
That's real fancy special effects makeup, isn't it?
Nilo also left this question, which I will not read out loud because it might sound like I'm stroking my ego. Still, I wanted to share it to show how awesome my subs are. Thank you, Nilo. Or Nilo. Again, let me know down in the comments if I'm pronouncing that one wrong. And Marcos.wv asks, do you feel that working out helps with dealing with daily mental health struggles? Absolutely, positively, 110% yes. If I didn't regularly work out, I honestly don't know where I would be. And, yeah, it probably wouldn't be good. The satisfaction of the physical and mental based challenge that is a workout is highly effective for combating stress. And this is largely because physical activity releases happy chemicals such as dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Yoglev asks, when/how did you learn to edit/produce such high quality videos? Surely this channel isn't your first go at it. First off, that is so very kind of you. Thank you so much. In college, I studied communications and film, so I was always writing essays or helping out with film production in some way. I obtained a lot of my YouTube skills there. I also have a lot of film background prior to college, as well as having that earlier YouTube channel that I mentioned, where I could hone in on my editing skills. And then there's Jake Lavin, who, fun fact, is one of my best and oldest friends, as well as my roommate and landlord. Hi, Jakey! Anyway, Jake asks, why is having a bodybuilder's physique so important in professional wrestling when it's so uncommon for top-level heavyweight fighters in MMA and boxing? Great question, Jake, and I'm gonna let Not Dead Yet field part of this one.
Combat athletes, boxers, whatever, are best athletes in the world when it comes to all-around physical fitness because you need a little bit of everything. Like, you do need the muscle and the strength for power and to be able to take hits to condition your body to actually get hit. But you also need long-distance endurance, especially if you're doing a 10-round or 12-round title fight. But I mean, again, depending on what level you're at in the pros, there are 6-round fights, there are 3-round fights. But again, it's still long-distance stuff. You need hit cardio and be able to sprint, because that's what rounds are. They're just quick bursts of energy followed by small breaks. And even if we take it in terms of round per round, 3 minutes on, 1 minute off is interval training. So you have moderate intensity interval training, high intensity interval training, long distance endurance. You need it all.
But yeah, basically a bodybuilder's physique isn't inherently important. Bodybuilding is a sport that focuses primarily on various hypertrophy techniques in order to make the muscles bigger. Hypertrophy is one aspect of fitness. Again, that is the focus of this sport. But training hypertrophy in general can be very beneficial for a wide variety of sports. It likely wouldn't be optimal for your average fighter to carry as much muscle as someone like Ronnie Coleman, for example.
Wait, baby! Go! Yep, all right!
But most combat sports could benefit from some muscular size and strength. There was a reason you see Rocky Balboa training in a bodybuilding fashion on top of all the other things he's seen doing. And we could also look at real life fighters like George St. Pierre, Mike Tyson, Ken Shamrock, Brock Lesnar, or Paulo Costa, who all have physiques that are reminiscent of bodybuilders. Bottom line is that it's not a requirement, but it can very much come in handy. Although most people pursue hypertrophy for the aesthetics and strength benefit. In pro wrestling, which is technically sports entertainment and is thus very showy, having a bodybuilder's physique is meant to make the wrestlers look imposing and cool. Next up, we have Zelo, or Zello. Again, correct me down in the comment section below if I'm doing that one wrong. Zelo wants to know, any underrated low-calorie food? There are a lot of options that have already been covered by great minds like Greg Doucette, but I would like to draw some attention towards beets. I've actually been consuming one whole beet per day for the last month or so, and the benefits are noticeable. A very unique root vegetable with a beautiful color, beets have been touted for their performance-boosting benefits, cognitive benefits, and even libido benefits. This is mostly due to their ability to increase blood flow from their naturally high nitrate content. I recommend adding them to smoothies. On their own, the average person probably wouldn't find them to be all that palatable, but they add a nice flavor when mixed with fruit and protein powder. They're high in antioxidants, including a rare antioxidant called betalain, as well as vitamins and minerals. As far as I'm concerned, this is a true superfood. And yes, of course, very low calorie too.
Beets are the worst.
People love beets.
Nobody likes beets.
Everyone loves beets.
Nobody likes beets, Dwight.
Big Smoke asked 2 questions. First up, we have, what is your goal physique and have you achieved it? My goal physique has of course changed over the years, but honestly, I am more or less at this point very happy with my physique. I want to continue to improve in any way that I can, but again, I'm very content with where I'm at. Basically, I want to take myself as close to my natty limit as possible. Right now, the main area of my body that needs some work is my legs, because I have a history of doing a lot of long distance running. And second, how many years have you been training? Technically, I've been training on some level for the last 15-ish years or so, but I've only really been training smartly and effectively for the last 4 years or so. This is an unfortunate reality that I have to live with. I definitely could have made more gains in all my years of training if I had found the proper guidance, but I'm just glad that I finally learned about proper form and progression. And I'm probably gonna butcher this name, but Tamowachi00 wants to know, do you have a long-term fitness plan? My long-term plan is pretty broad. One of my big missions is to be well-rounded in fitness. I want to be strong, aesthetic, have a mighty heart, have extreme flexibility, and so on and so forth. As far as specific goals go, I would like to do at least one natural bodybuilding competition. I would also like to be able to perform reps on the deadlift with at least 500 pounds. Lastly, I would like to continue to further my skills with martial arts, which is an area that I have a lot of varied, albeit sporadic, experience with. Marco Secchi, or Sechi? Correct me in the comments. Anyway, Marco would like to know who my favorite authors are. My favorite author is pretty much hands down Stephen King. It is my favorite novel of all time, a true horror epic. But I enjoy a majority of his novels, as well as novellas and short stories. And I'm also a really big comic book nerd. Open Boxer Miguel asks about music. As a lover of the arts, there is a ton of music that I adore. I'm a huge fan of 70s, 80s, and 90s music in particular, but I can find a lot that I love from most eras. To name several of my favorite bands and artists, I would say Aerosmith, Def Leppard, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Tears for Fears, Led Zeppelin, Madonna, Kanye West, The Beatles, Outkast, George Michael, Green Day, Prince, Queen. Seriously, I could go on and on. There's not a whole lot that I don't like. Another awesome YouTuber pal of mine, Daniel Barrios, aka Become OP, asked a few great questions. First, have you ever been injured while training? And if so, what did you do to recover from it? I've had a ton of injuries, unfortunately, mostly related to stupid decisions I made on my fitness journey. I've hurt my knees, my shoulder, my lower back, and I have elbow tendonitis. One of my big missions as a personal trainer is to know how to best prevent injury, or prehab in general. Two of the most profound practices that I implemented to prevent injury or work through injury is regular self-myofascial release as well as regular stretching. I place a huge emphasis on form in all of my workouts and never ego lift as well. Second, what are some of your favorite meals that are satiating to help you create a calorie deficit? Well, when I first discovered anabolic French toast, I literally made it 5 out of 7 days of the week, so that's a big one. Otherwise, I just tend to eat a lot of voluminous veggies and some sort of lean protein with most meals. Make it taste good, it's not that hard. And last, this is the movie geek in me. What movie songs are on your playlist to motivate you to work out? I guarantee I have a few of the same on my playlist. I would say that the Rocky IV soundtrack is the ultimate fitness soundtrack, in my opinion. The music works even better with the visuals of the movie, but the soundtrack on its own is pretty much like healthy cocaine. And last, but certainly not least, as the cliche goes, we have Min Trains. I believe that's how it would be pronounced. Min Trains asked 3 questions, and I'm gonna answer all 3 of them. What would you do differently in your muscle building journey if you could go back and do it all over again? Learn how to train properly. Honestly, I thought I knew way more than I actually did, which didn't help the issue in question. If I was introduced to proper form and progression, as well as injury prevention protocols, and an understanding of calories, I would have been way better off. Next, we have favorite exercises for each muscle group. That's a fun one. Chest is my favorite muscle group to train, so literally any chest exercise. Presses, push-ups, flies, even dips. And then for both legs and back, I choose the deadlift, but specifically hex bar and sumo deadlifts. Biceps would be incline dumbbell biceps curls. Triceps would probably be triceps dips, which I know are a controversial one. Shoulders would likely be dumbbell lateral raises, and abs and core would be the dragonfly. And the final Q&A question is, what's the best advice you've been given during your fitness journey? It's among 3, I can't really choose one. Calories in, calories out was monumental. Controlling the weight in the gym was pertinent. And then self-myofascial release actually being beneficial was essential. So yeah, I'd go with any of those 3. And that does it for both the Q&A as well as the subscriber special. Again, I really want to thank everybody for the incredible support. It truly warms my heart, and you will not regret staying tuned. Bye bye everyone, I'll see you real soon.